Hi guys, I'm back with you again. I'm just doing a whole slew of videos for how to keep writing your book. If you haven't seen my other videos, just hit, go back and subscribe and check them out. Tip 13, which tip 13 is think you can and you can. That little kid story with the little engine that could, who thought he could and he did it. Huge with writing a book is thinking you can accomplish it, thinking you can be successful. Getting up here correct, because your mind really affects everything you do. It affects your writing, it affects your life. You think you can, you can. Just say that to yourself. If something, you get stuck in a story, you come to a roadblock, just think in your brain. This is what I did with my fantasy books especially. I was like, you know what? I'm going to figure it out, and it's okay. And I would just leave it at that. I wouldn't stress about it. I would just simply think that I could do it. It would just kind of come smoking by, especially at the end of the series. I was freaking out, and I was like, how is this going to tie together? I don't know what's going to happen next, and just like clicked together finally in my mind because I told myself I could. Let's go to tip 14 is stand up to your dream killers. So whatever is coming against your dream, you have to stand up to it. You have to come against that way of thinking. If you're thinking, like with me, I realized that there was a negative thought pattern in my mind, which was you will never be successful. So every time I had a bad sales or every time I got a negative review, it was like looping in my mind. My mind tends to grab hold of a thought and it's like thinking and thinking and thinking it. So that's something that you have to know is find that negative thought, whatever is causing to kill your dream, and stand up against it. And you have to combat it with a positive thought. So combat that you will never be successful with you will be successful, you will be a full-time author, and just kept thinking it over and over and over until it began to change the way I thought. To your dream killers, whatever it is, usually it's this right here is what's killing your dream. You're your own worst critic. You really can't control negative reviews. You sometimes can't control low sales. You just can't. It's difficult. Stand up to whatever the mindset is that is causing you to fail. Slay your fears. So every single author faces fears. Every one of us think our story's not good enough. We are our own worst critic. We will pick apart our own book until it's bleeding. I mean, a couple authors who they still haven't published because they're so wary of that. They're like, oh, people will hate it. People won't like it. They'll think it's boring. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. And that's something that, as a writer, I could say the same thing. I'm like, oh gosh, this is so wrong and this is so wrong. This isn't good enough and that's not good enough. But the thing is, you have to slay your fear. Stand up to what's causing you to be afraid to write the rest of that book. You have to keep going. I'm a Doctor Who fan, and I watched this episode, and I don't remember all the details, but there was a little boy who was afraid of everything. So everything he was afraid of, they stuck in the closet, began to build and build and build, and it sucked the Doctor and his dad into this dollhouse. And scary things were like wandering around, and the Doctor told the little boy, he's like, these are all shadows, these are all fears, they're not real, stand up to them, slay your fears. Once the little boy did, it just poof, they just kind of exploded and they were gone, and he no longer walked in fear. I'm probably butchering the episode because it was a while ago I saw it. I took a lesson from that, and the fact that I needed to slay my fears. I needed to stand up to that trickery and that shadow and those things that caused me to doubt myself. Every author thinks that they're horrible. Sometimes it's just the way we are. We're a creative person. We think negative sometimes about the way we write and the way we receive reviews, sales, or whatever it is. But the thing, when it comes down to it, if you love writing, don't allow fear to hold you back. That love of writing to keep you going. Keep it strong in your heart. When you feel that bad review kind of pushing you down and making you want to cry, well, think back on the good reviews. Think about those 50 good reviews, not that one negative. But we tend to put more focus on the negative than the positive as a writer. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and tune in for a few more tips. There's still a few more to go, and keep writing your book. Keep going.